for YouTube. So we're going to be building the Orca today. So live doing some Lego building. And then we're going to be doing some Dead by Daylight. Those who are watching on after the fact, we got that. And yes, CodeLex13, Luna did in fact get me this set. So let's open her up. You see Jaws. We got the instructions here. I am. Hang on. They should. Let me double check. They're not. Hang on just a second. Okay, so sound alert should be up now. And my normal alerts. Oh no, sound alerts was already there. Sound alerts is part of just my normal overlay stuff. So yeah, that's all still there. Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. Tuesday. So we have all of the stuff for this. Even though I've got the instructions here physically, I have them on my iPad, so it's going to be a little easier. So, I mean, take a look at the thickness of that book. I know there are sets with bigger, thicker books, but that's a beastie. Yeah, my sound alerts are always on. They are part of my overlay stuff. So, indeed, moving right along. We got bag one. Making sure we're getting out the right pieces that we need. We got baggy one, and we got a good old plate. I got a bunch of extra plates here. They're gonna be for the ocean later on, which we may or may not get to, because the ship is the first part of this. It's ship Bruce and the platform that it's all on. So we don't know. I don't know how long this is gonna go on for. How long this is gonna take. So sorry, taking this off my screen so I can get this in. Pouring open in a probably more comfortable venue. So the boat is 7 bags total. The whole set is 13. Total bags that are numbered, but then there's 3 plates plus another unlabeled baggie that, yeah, unnumbered baggie. Good old brick separator. Go up here above frame. Try and get things at least a little sorted. Not doing a crazy sorting, but hopefully the ocean audio is coming through to everybody. I mean, let's be realistic. I took and many moons ago, I I built the Lego Disney Castle. And that one was 4,080 pieces. And I built that all in, I think it was a single 16 hours. So, I mean, it did take me a hot minute. And, but that was also the largest set I built at the time. It's still the largest set I've built, but yeah. Okay, so we got pile here, another pile here. So first we're gonna build, looks like we're building Chief Brody. Find his legs here. Chief Brody, Roy Scheider. One of my favorite scenes is him at the back of the boat chumming the water. And then Bruce just comes out of the water. Cigarette hanging out of his mouth. Cigarette hanging out of his mouth, chum bucket there. And then just the shark right there. Just right into him, trying to eat his hand as he's chumming the water. Burner. Burner. He's reposition on here. Look, Mel, just sit back and don't. The trick with any Lego set, no matter how big the set is to not freak out. Because, like, and also start small. Like the set that we got for Luna, her Rose, is just, you know, I don't even know if it was 100 pieces. I really recommend if it's your first ever Lego set, I really recommend they do poly bags, just plastic bag sets. Like I've done a little Millennium Falcon I did on stream many moons ago. It's just a side thing. I really recommend those ones. Because they are nice, small, concise. You're not getting enough pieces to crash out about. Like you can kind of just chill out and enjoy. And that's the other thing is that just sit back and just, you know, take your time. These are just, you know, you don't have to speed build Legos. Like a Lego set is not something you have to speed build. It's just like sit back, enjoy. It's why I can sit back and just like I'm looking over at chat and then I'm building the set. Trying to keep everything in frame because I'm not super good at that. But what's also great is that I have, and unfortunately I don't make it anymore. There's a Lego Builders Academy set that are now long retired that I have. And one of the things that was great about those was that it taught the concept behind why you're doing things, like why things are done in a Lego build. So you're not sitting there going, why am I doing this here? It tells you like, well, the reason why it shows you like, well, the reason why you do this thing is so that it locks these other parts together. And so you understand why you're doing these things. Like, we're filling in gaps here so that later on, when we put stuff on the bottom, there's going to be enough clutch power to hold those pieces that we're putting in later in. Since unlike old school model kits, you're not building these with glue. You're just using literally just the power of friction to hold everything together. So I'm gonna just like let go on rolling. But yeah, so as we build out the boat, just getting all these. And Fisher's looking at things, getting confused because one of his favorite hidey holes is currently blocked by the box for the Lego set. Oh, sorry, you're in the ads. Yep, everybody. Plenty of spin. Oh yeah, so even though this is hollow in here, we've got a nice solid platform to work from. For the boat. And see, now we're taking these, and that's going to lock this all together, this right here. It gives it the color, but then it also locks these pieces together. Like, that's why, as we're doing things, we're locking stuff in. This part is locking this part in, which is then locked, and then this part is locked in with these. So that everything can be... So that when everything is said and done, you have one giant piece. And yes, if you drop it, you're going to have stuff fall off. But you're not going to... It's not just going to crumple. And like, oh God, it all fell off. Everything's fallen apart and all that. You're not going to have that going on. It may seem like that. It may feel like that. But that's not what's actually going to happen. Because now we're starting to build out the deck from the Orca. And we're going to have the nice smooth part so it does resemble a deck. But then we're going to also be able to sit back and have... have studs in here so we can have figures, the minifigs standing on there. At the various points. As you can see, as we're building this all out. And we're building out so it does look like the wood that you'd see on the deck. This is one of the Lego Ideas sets. So, this was actually designed by a fan, like a Lego fan, and then modified and finished by the master builders at Lego. Not because it wasn't perfectly well set and perfectly set to go into production, because frequently they are, but so that you had just those little bit of final touches, some stuff that maybe Lego could sit back. It had the capability of sitting back and putting in a slightly more custom piece than was publicly available. Getting all these in here, so we got the deck. We're just building the deck of the Orca right now. Wooden decking. And then as you can see, we're like, nothing's falling off because we're using just the physics of all of this to make sure that everything is staying in here nice and solid. Just that pure clutch power of the Lego. As you can see, we're already like almost done with this first bag. That's all we got left. There's those two little piles there. And one of the other reasons why I like to use the iPad for the instructions, let me put this down and bring it over, is that I can sit back and I can rotate things and I can see where everything goes, and I can look at the side view so I can see exactly where everything's supposed to go. And I'm not relying purely on the two-dimensional rendering of everything, so I can see exactly where it's supposed to fit in. And sometimes I don't really realize what I'm building, like what part of things I'm doing, until I'm doing them. I think this is, I think, the front of the boat. And right up here is where I'm thinking this is all going to end up. Yep. That's going to slot in right here. And this is where they've got the barrels that they attach to the shark. Throughout the early courses of things. If you haven't seen Jaws, highly recommend. It is, interestingly enough, considered to be the first summer blockbuster movie. Because it was like without Jaws, you wouldn't have Jurassic Park or any number of other things. And not just because of Spielberg directing those, but because a lot of that came from uh, Jaws being the thing to watch in the summer that it was released, in summer 1976. 76, no, it was 78. So this was like Star Wars came out and it did great, and then I believe Jaws was the year after Star Wars. So I am going to step away for just a moment. I realize that I don't have necessarily everything that I need right now, so I'm going to grab the last couple of things that I need, and I'm going to be right back. As we're waiting, sorry about that. So let me show you what I was doing, just so you guys have the view. So what I do is anytime I build a Lego set, I have big old Ziploc bags. And anytime I complete a bag, I take and I put any extra bits, like these guys right here, into it. And I keep the numbering and the setup exactly the same as they are in the bag. So that if I need space and dismantle a Lego set because I need the space for stuff, I can sit back and dismantle it in the reverse instructions order, and then it'll be there all set. And I can proceed in getting things all set back together. And rebuild it just with the same exact instructions, just using zip top bags as opposed to the big old plastic traditional one. So, and when I get sets that have the paper versions of the bags, I tend to be able to use those because they fold up and they open up a lot nicer than these do. These, you're inevitably just going to end up with a shredded plastic bag. And the paper ones I can reuse for that purpose. So, one of the things that I do really like in regards to the newer Lego sets and the change over to the paper bags. And we are going to be having another set of ads here in just a couple of minutes. Hopefully that won't interfere too much with your viewing experience, everybody. Okay. I think we are starting to make. Not sure what portion we're making right now, but we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it and get it all proceeding through. Oh, and I hope everybody's liking my new outfit. I realize for intents and purposes it looks pretty much the same. Okay, we're getting this. So what we're doing right now is we're building out the side of the hull. We're starting the portion that goes below the surface of the water. And what that's also doing is this, and I literally knocked one of these off. By us putting this in, that locks all of these components together. So even though that can come off, we're going to get another piece that's going to lock this in down here. I almost guarantee. So that stuff does not easily come off. Is there stuff that can come off? Sure. And sometimes it's interesting trying to see why the Lego team makes decisions that they make when it comes to these. Like, why do you use 1x plates? Maybe they weren't the right, maybe there weren't any of the appropriate lengths in here. Maybe 2x, there weren't any of the appropriate lengths there. And that's the reason why they did that way. I don't know. I don't know what necessarily 100% they have full access to integrate into sets. Well, I think it's kind of a cool thing. And again, if you haven't seen Jaws, highly recommend. Highly recommend checking out Jaws. It is an amazing movie. Absolutely scared the pants off of, if not your parents, your grandparents when it came out. Slow ahead, I can go some of that. Slow ahead. Some of this shit. And see how we're now locking all of this together with these. And so aside from a few pieces like these, this is going to be hard pressed to be able to come apart. I mean, these are locked together super solid. And what we're doing right now is we're building the back of the Orca. We're building back here. So what we're doing here in the back. As we can see, we've got the Orca there. And I love that that's a printed piece. And not a sticker. It's one of the things that I love about the Lego Ideas sets is they tend to have printed pieces in place of stickers. Not that stickers are bad, it's just one, printed piece looks better and will always look better. Because you're never going to end up with a printed piece being misaligned. Or at least you're less likely to have a printed piece be misaligned. So we're doing now. So as you can see, we're now putting on the back of the boat. And the boat right now, this back piece is literally only connected by these studs here. Everything else is, there's nothing gripping here at the back. But then what we're going to do is we take, and we're now attaching all of these. See, like this part comes right off. But a little bit later on, we're going to be getting the other side, and that's going to lock this entire back part into place. And put that down. As you can see, we're building out I mean, you can't see the instructions, but I am. But we're building out another connection here, which is going to go on this side. Book Loving Builder, thanks very much for that raid. Greatly appreciated. I'm always glad to be doing stuff with Lego, and we are going to need a bigger boat. Gonna need a bigger boat. Love this movie. Love building Lego. We got the back of the Orca all set. Now I get to start building out. I love building out the hull. I love how that looks. I love how I know it's gonna end up looking. Just gives a great feeling, and I love how solid things end up being built together. So Book Loving Builder, what were you building earlier? What were you streaming earlier? I didn't have a chance to just taking a look at things. Put this over the side a little bit so I am one of those people who I don't sit back and null all my stuff. Get the pieces all nice and organized. I am one of those older builders. Big new Christmas tree. I think that's cool. I love some of those. I was watching somebody. I love chaos building. I was watching somebody who had taken and 3D printed out a dramatically huger version of the Lego Christmas tree and had built that as their Christmas tree, and I loved it. If I had access to the 3D printer, it would I would definitely be doing that as my Christmas tree, because that is just a pile of fun. I would love to be able to do something like that, and I love that people are gonna do stuff like that. Like, I love my Lego. Okay, I want a Lego Christmas tree. Cool. Let's build the biggest, most absurd Lego Christmas tree we can. And for those of you who are coming in from the raid from Brick Loving Builder, I'm Raven Wisha. Thank you for that follow, Simpson99. I'm a VTuber, as you can see, not a human face in sight. I'm also a variety streamer. I love building Lego. I have the Jaws set. I have a batch of unbuilt sets that I've been hanging on to. And then when I do hand cam streams, it's usually either gonna be Lego or I also knit chainmail. And I'll do that on live streams. I have been playing lately. I've been doing the Danganronpa series as just independent gaming stuff on the channel. And I hope that you guys can come by and hang out and enjoy, not just for this, but in the future too. Because I love having everybody here and being able to entertain you all in this space. And indeed, Brick Loving Builder, again, thank you very much for that raid. It is so immensely appreciated. And y'all can see my lovely my lovely moderator, Codelex13. She is the absolutely lovely girlfriend of mine that purchased this set for me for Valentine's Day / our anniversary. And I'm just taking the opportunity to build it on stream because she lives in a faraway land compared to me. It gives her an opportunity to sit back and be able to watch me build this lovely Lego set. Awesome. Awesome, Book Club and Builder. Greatly. That sounds amazing. The new Christmas train. That's the one with the 3D printed itty bitty train, isn't that? I believe that like a bunch of people like lost their absolute mind over. I gotta say, I really enjoy when Lego branches out. And do things that are a little different. Some people just like lose their absolute minds over stuff like, oh my god, Lego's doing 3D printing. They're not 3D printing all their parts. That is just not feasible. If you know a whole bunch about 3D printing and that, yeah, I think it's awesome. Yeah, Luna just really started building Lego since we got together. And she's done very, very small sets because she does live in a different part of the country than I do. I can't help her out most of the time. And especially when you haven't built Lego like ever and you're starting to as an adult, space is always a factor. That's why I have this set up here. But it's just a matter that so there's always an anxiety that she ends up getting with that being early in Lego building and having not built stuff when she was younger. So it makes things difficult because I don't want to sit back and have her like hate things because she's building things in her neck of the woods and have no help whatsoever and just freaking out because of just the things not going on. Mel, thank you for that lurk. And I hope you guys aren't minding. I found a great ambient video of on YouTube of some just some ambient ocean and Jaws lines. Obtuse Corner, thank you very much for that follow. Greatly appreciated. We're just kind of, but like I said, I do not just Lego, but I do a bunch of stuff. And not just hand cams, definitely a lot of video gaming too. But I mean, I hope you guys can come by and hang out for all of that. There you go. That's kind of the best way to do things. Nice, relaxing, but yeah. I've been streaming for a while, but always trying to find that niche where I best fit in. And so, that's where you when you're trying to find your spot, you're gonna try what you can, but you got to do what you love. And like I've been saying, Jaws is, I mean, up there in my favorite movies. Up there. One of those ones that I thoroughly enjoy. But if you take a look at my new outfit, you can and you have a a good sense of film costume, you can probably guess what my favorite movie is. Might be a little hard if you don't have necessarily the large repertoire. I also, when I'm not streaming, I do work actually in the film industry, doing grip and electric. So you will hear occasionally we do double Cajun fries and McDonald's Cane's fries and McDonald's Sprite. That's a good choice there, Mel, for the fast food combo. Tumble, tumble, tumble. Yeah, mine also does include a double. Mine is a little more specific. Double mustard fried extra spread. And because I'm going to throw this in there for things, for the beverage, I'm going to actually change things up from how it's been for a while. And it's going to be the the McDonald's Shamrock Shake for my beverage. And for a side, you know, I really toss that up a little bit. I haven't had fast food in a hot minute. Really. I have a very hot take that Luna does not like. That surprisingly I found out online, not as hot a take as I thought. That I think that the worst fries. I love a double. Love a double. Love In-N-Out. Their food is great. They treat their employees great. The daughter of the founding family is kind of a twit. And trying to move the company to Tennessee because she's a big MAGA influence, big MAGA person. But I think their fries suck. And as we did earlier, even though there's nothing new in here, nothing left over in this set, I do want to make sure we have our baggie set for the future, just on the off chance. And now we're getting into bag 3 here. And we're all about an hour into the stream and into the build. It's all set with my chaos build. Get Sheriff Brody kind of tidied up over there. So, if anybody who's sticking around, how many of you have watched Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul? I know we're doing Jaws stuff. We're making a lovely Jaws set. But I'm just curious on what y'all have watched and enjoy in all the spheres of entertainment. Because I will say I'm always going to be partial to Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. One of my first times working on set was on season 2 of Breaking Bad. And I spent a good chunk of time working on the final season of Better Call Saul. And if you're watching Pluribus, also from Vince Gilligan, on Apple TV Plus, if you see an exterior scene with a bunch of lighting coming from above everything, you will have seen some of my work. As I do set lighting, in particular the sky high set lighting from within a condor. What do you ladies of Spain? Go home. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. Drink about an hour ago and it went right to my head. He's all nice and tidied in there. Get these all nice and set and configured here. As we're building the cabin here on the Orca. Like kind of the below deck portion. Scooted forward just a little bit here. Get everything kind of lined up here. It's open. Get it in the correct direction. Pay attention properly. So you get a nice angle going out to the front of the boat. Get everything locked down and nice and snug here. So this piece sits here and functions to lock in this hinged piece that we just added. That's one of the things, one of those tricks. Make sure everything, and then we're gonna do something on top here that's gonna lock those, and it's gonna further lock that. I almost guarantee. Guarantee. And look, just as I suspected. And we got that piece to lock all this in. So that's all one solid thing. You can't take and I'm more likely to break this brick than I am to have it come flying off. And again, we're building out the cabin here. And of course, I put in the wrong piece here. It's always nice to have the brick separator. Slot that back down there. Should probably do a better job of looking at the piece list rather than just what I'm seeing. Sometimes you do that, sometimes you don't. It's kind of a bad habit that you get into sometimes. Get these all set, continuing the build out. More decking. It is interesting when you sit back and end up building out basically a 2x2 out of 2 triangles. But I'm sure that's there for aesthetic reasons. Because you can't ignore the aesthetics. It can't be purely functional and purely ease of doing things the fastest way possible. Okay, now I see what we're building. We're building the table out where they were drinking at. When they were drinking and sharing shark stories when they were out hunting. Here's where Quint was. There's the backrest for, or sorry, this is the bench seat that they were on. We'll probably be building out the table here in a second. I do need to do a little bit of looking. Aha! See, and I did say there are still stickers. Now, for those of you who may not have built a lot of Lego sets, I know that we did just get a batch of y'all from that raid. Trick that I learned. Interesting trick for you. You want to get a nice position on your Lego stickers. Use your brick separator. Get it? And then you can use that to get it nice and lined up way better than you can get with your fingers. Way better than you can get with your fingies. Yo, good old fingies can only do so much. And we see the part of the reason why we're using these is so that we can accommodate for that hinge in there. And I'm not a huge, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm not a huge fan of Sprite. It has never been my thing, personally. I come from a land of Coke, where everything is a Coke. Coke all over the place. So we are, just so you guys are aware, we are 3 bags deep in this. In the build. Getting Aratang moving. Farewell on a doom of dear Polish ladies. Farewell to you ladies of Spain. And then, again, we do have another lovely printed part. You'll notice that even with all the stuff that you'd expect to see on this, we do only have 6 total stickers in the entire set, and they're small stickers. McDonald's Coke is, if you're going to have Coke, the best Coke. Mounted there. For the radio that ends up getting destroyed by Quint when they're out. Because Sheriff Brody's trying to call in. So, I really want to try, and this isn't like a secret menu item or anything like that at McDonald's, but I would like to try getting one of their ice cream cones and a Coke and just jamming the ice cream cone, like the vanilla ice cream cone, into the Coke. And now we've got another sticker to apply. And this is one of those cases where, because it's going to go right on here on this little slope right here, it's where that trick using the brick separator will help quite a bit. You can get a lot straighter than you can just with just straight on fingies. Get this all here at the fore of the boat. We're making a lot of progress on the small details of the Orca, like the stuff that the real like movie details, the stuff that you're just gonna, if you know the movie, you're gonna love, and you're gonna recognize. Just from specific things. Yeah, that, and we are building out. We're doing. See, this is the part where we actually have kind of a batch of stickers. Right here in this segment, because we've done in this bag all by its lonesome. This is our 3rd sticker, just within bag 3. Our map, our coffee mug on the table. Right here in the middle of things, right where they were all getting drunk off of moonshine. Now we're starting to build out. Looks like we're starting to build out the windows. Bono. And I have a love-hate relationship with these pillars. In some set, I like that they have them now, but I remember in some sets where you'd have to build them together, and it's like a 50-50 whether which type it's going to be. And I wish there was some consistency on, like, though building those. And that's just a personal niggle. The personal debate and problem that's not really a problem. Oh. Windows out to the rest of the world. Farewell on a doom, fine Spanish ladies. Farewell on a doom, my ladies of Spain. And they did put this in a little far. It's nice when you can at least notice that you got things a little in the wrong spot and still have the ability to correct it, because you haven't fully built everything out. And I apologize to everybody who's now watching those ads, but for those of you that are around and are not being subject to the advertisements, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a sub or a Twitch Turbo enjoyer. But also remember, if you do have Amazon Prime, you do have Amazon Luna, which gives you a free sub to any channel on Twitch that renews never. So you need to go through and renew that subscription by just redoing it every month. It doesn't have to go to the same place. It doesn't have to go to me, but make sure it goes to somebody, because that's money out of Amazon's pocket and not yours. And it's always better when you can use somebody else's money that you're already paying for that Prime membership. But get that real full advantage by giving Amazon's money away to a streamer, rather than letting them keep that money. Because Amazon doesn't need that money. Streamers can always use that money. Because we can always do that to make the streams better. 1 second. Ah, missed one. I knew there was a piece that was a little too big to be there. So now let's get these spare bits into our bag 3. So again, keep them all nice and organized. I know it's all plastic bags are bad for the environment. These aren't entering a landfill. They're going into the box from the Lego set so that we can keep going and we can make this more useful in the future. And this turned out because I moved a couple of years ago, and having to put a bunch of my stuff, not having as much space in my current place as I did in my old one. I had to dismantle a bunch of my Lego set, and having done this process of making the bags and having everything have their own separate bag has made it so that when I dismantled sets for that to put into storage, I know that I'm going to be able to rebuild those sets in the future really easily. This is just my own little Lego life hack. We just started bag 4. The boat has a total of 7 bags, and we are on to bag 4 right now. We are coming along pretty nicely on the boat. And we got a lot of fun film details in the cabin here. We got the Campbell, the Amity Gazette. We've got the map of Amity Island. We got where they were getting the little thing where they got drunk. Got the spear. Got the harpoons on the side. I'm looking forward. I have a feeling. Yep. I can see here in bag 5, got all the components. Start building the barrels for the front of the ship. And for those of you that aren't aware, Code Lex 13 is also a horror podcaster. She podcasts on Delight in Fright and streams the recording of those podcasts right here on Twitch. And she is doing what I'm looking forward to, going to be a cool review, recap, and opinion stream about the Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein tomorrow on the day when I am not streaming. And you should definitely follow Delight in Fright. And there's that link there. So that you can enjoy those podcasts live when they are. I feel like I'm missing a piece that I'm not spotting. I'm hoping that's not the case. I hope that I am just not noticing it. I'm gonna do something that's counter to the instructions, but I'm not seeing what I need to. But hopefully, this will turn out to be the right thing, and there's just a glitch in the instructions. Or I'll come across what I'm actually needing in a little bit after we've cleared out some pieces and I can rectify this. Some of this shit. Slow ahead, slow ahead. I can go slow ahead. So I think this is going to be the seat where the fishing seat that Quint is in. No. Love getting stuff with the on the visuals for what I'm watching. We've got the when you hear the bottom, they have the shark going past in the water, usually with the beeper going on out of his back. Am I hallucinating? Did I lose some pieces? Where my chaos building does sometimes cause some hiccups. It's not good. And I am actually missing some pieces in it. Which would be a genuine shame, because that means that I am going to have to put this on a hold. I don't really want to do that. I'm hoping it's just under something. Another one of these. As I actually have to do some part organizing. Let's move stickers up here out of view. I am shifting things fully out of view on this just because I am trying to find pieces that I am not spotting. I'm giving myself just an absurd amount of light right now. Yep, I am missing a piece. Because I am supposed to have 3 of these right here. And I cannot find the one I am missing. Because I got 2 3x1s, 2 6x, but I need 3 2x. So we are going to go a little bit as far much as we can. But I do know that we aren't going to be able to fully proceed. And so I'm missing 2 pieces right now. Because I'm missing the flat beige right here that I was doing this one, but that's not going to work because this has to swing over. And then I am missing one of these. So what we do in this case is we take and I'm going to shift this around a little bit, just see if anything fell into another portion. Check the next bag, not there. So, need to grab my instruction manual so I can tell them what pieces I'm missing, because I'm missing a couple. A couple from this bag right here. Finding the piece number. Oh, and conveniently, there's only one of these pieces in this entire set. And then we are missing a black. Come on, where are you in the list of pieces? There are a total of 9 in this one, that's in this set that I'm missing. Indeed, Taco Tuesday. Tuesday. Okay. So, unfortunately, we have kind of come to a place where we got to stop because I need pieces that are not here. And if I go farther, I'm going to be locking pieces in. So I've made the order for the pieces with Lego. Because they do, you can, if you're missing pieces, they are just not in the bag. I'm looking around, seeing if they maybe fell off of my work surface, but they are just not here. So what we're missing is a piece like this one without these studs on top. So it's just a flat beige piece. And then we are also missing one of this piece right here. This angled black piece. I find it incredibly rare for Lego to not have pieces. But it does happen on occasion. You do get that in there. So what we have to do is I am going to get everything that I do have tucked away into my replacement bag 4, since we're on bag 4. So we can't quite finish the Orca right now, which is a shame. So, since I don't have these pieces, we've got to put a pause on the Orca itself. And that's going to get put over to the side. But, fortunately, this set actually has 3 builds in it. There's the Orca, which is the largest portion of the build, which is what we've been working on. That's bags 1 through 7. I mean, there's the Orca right there. Ship that it's what we built so far, and then these. But what we can do, since we're kind of at a stopping point because of that, I can at least build Bruce. I gotta take the Orca and step away for just a moment. So I have the Tantive 4 hallway. Got the Orca temporarily placed up there since we can't continue with that. But, again, fortunately, we can jump ahead to bag 8. And we can start building Bruce. Bruce the shark. So, even though we don't have the boat to make a bigger boat, we can still build the shark. Since we are, even though we're missing those pieces, we do still have the ability to continue building and not just call this. Since we still got, still got plenty of time before everybody who is around, who's going to be playing multiplayer games with me, is going to be available. We can at least still be building something. Just instead of the Orca, we are going to be building Bruce. It looks like Bruce's first bag has 2 mini bags inside. And just kind of to keep smaller bits So it's not just all a wall of pieces. And I do need to step away for just a moment, just so I can get a couple more bags. I've run out of my usual bags that I use for my replacement bags. I just need to grab some other ones so that I've got some ready to go. Get a couple of these so that we can proceed. Yep, more bags. Those are just some freezer bags because I've got my usual ones that I use. I don't have any more of at the moment. I just got to get more of those. I mean, those will come soon enough. And see, we've got fortunately, it kind of makes us 3 piles for the chaos build. And let's get on with building Bruce. Bruce the shark, the most problematic element of the filming of Jaws. He was originally supposed to be in the movie a lot more than he was. Ended up not, because the animatronic was just not working the way that they needed it to. He was problematic. He stank. He was just difficult. And probably seemingly as difficult in most people's eyes as his namesake, Steven Spielberg's lawyer, Bruce. But yeah, we do fortunately have more bags to go through. And hopefully these ones don't have any missing pieces. It really is a shame that we did have any missing pieces on a build that we're building on stream. I seem to have bad luck with that. I have ended up with missing pieces, I feel, more than the average. Which is a bummer. And it really is just on me, like my perception. I think that what we're building now, I think this is the base for Bruce to be on. That feels... This does not feel like a shark piece. This does not give shark. It's just not giving shark vibe to me. Get that kind of swept down. Farewell, I do my fair Spanish lady. Farewell, I do my ladies of Spain. Yeah. See, here we've got... What's that? It's a whale. I'm tired and I wanna go to bed. And a little drink about an hour ago. And it went right to my head. Okay, so now, yeah, this is the base for Bruce. So he can be on his own stand, or he can be on the stand with the orca, chomping down on the boat. And this is our base for the big boy. And they're all set. See, now it looks like a nice wooden base. Then we got the printed Lego jaws. Goes right in here. Burner, burner. And we're starting to make the stand for Bruce to go on. Farewell, and I do my fair Spanish ladies. Well, and I do my ladies of Spain. It's these all drop down on here. I think this is going to be the kind of the display arm for Bruce. A little on the beefy side so that he can since he is a chunky boy. A chunky boy of a shark. We're getting this all together here. This is going to slot all the way through the very bottom. Burning. 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 Ba-da-ba. Pivot. Pivot. We get all that set there. We start seeing that gray coming together. That fine gray darkness. Uh, so I'm building Bruce right now. So there are 3 minifigs. There's Quint, there's Sheriff Brody, and then there is, why can't I remember his name? Your favorite character. We built Brody. All the minifigs come in during the build of the Orca itself. So we are actively building Bruce right now. We built the base for Bruce. The minifigs all come in when building the Orca. We are getting just the start on the build of Bruce. Because we got his base build right here. And then he's going to end up mounted up here. So this is just the base for just Bruce, not the base for the whole thing. Since we had to pivot since we were missing pieces for the Orca. We had to pivot that a little bit so we can still keep building on the stream today. I knew that today wasn't going to be fully finishing out the build. Just because it is kind of a bigger set. We are still going to make sure that we, get progress on the set as we go. We can't build the full set in this stream. Because we're missing some pieces, we pivot that a little bit so that we can, to what we can build. Which is what we're doing right now. I think we're building the tail portion of Bruce. Could be wrong. It is always a shame when you get a Lego set that doesn't have everything. I will say I did go through most of my life not having a problem like that, not having missing pieces from any Lego sets. So the fact that, now when it is easier to get the parts replaced, to get the ones that you're missing into your hand because of the internet, I don't mind it as much as I would have if it were in my younger years, in the before times. When it wasn't, when, like, you either had to call Lego customer support or maybe take things back to the retailer where you got it. And you sit there and go, well, I'm missing this piece. Oops. That happens sometimes. But we are building Bruce right now. That's what we're doing at this moment, is we are building Bruce. I think we're building his tail right now. What's that? It's a whale. I'm tired and I wanna go to bed. Bum bum bada. Little ring about an hour ago. And it went right to my head. We're building his tail, looks like. I'm assuming it's his tail and not his mouth. It could be mouth. But I don't see a whole lot of teeth. And I feel like there'd be more teeth if this was the face. But I could be wrong. And like I said, I feel like we're in tail territory. So I know that we've got a bunch of movies about sharks, on horror movies about sharks. Does Jaws still stand up in your opinion? If you've watched Jaws, does it still hold up amidst the deep blue sea, whatever, under Paris? See, we do have his tail. We mount him through there. And what's interesting is that his tail literally still hits the bottom, like hits, like we can fold his tail up just that little bit to get it up off of the table. But if it's just straight, it's touching the surface. We do have our finished big 8. We do have some spare bits. Because there are so frequently just the extra spare bits, I don't mind as much when, like, yeah, it sucks that I can't finish building the Orca because we're missing a couple of pieces. But at least we can still keep building Bruce. Most of the time when I've run into a missing piece on a Lego build, it's in a sub build, and there are other portions of the build you can keep going with. Like this. We had to stop on the Orca, but we can keep going with Bruce. If heaven forbid we have to stop on Bruce. Well, looks like we are getting a minifig in here. Or at least a head. Because I am seeing Quint's head and Quint's hat and his body. So you are getting your minifigs, Luna. You are going to be getting your Quint here in just a couple of moments. Building Quint with the shark. Quint, the owner and operator of the Orca. I love they got the harpoon gun. And where is his machete? Went with the harpoon gun and the machete. Put him on the base for now. Since we got that little bit of a spot right now. Shift that in, put that right in the middle of things. Do fair Spanish ladies. Well, I do ladies and pain. See you again. When we start, I think we're gonna about start building out the head and the innards. Good old Brucey here. Let's see. Let's do the absolute mayhem chaos builds. Slots in here and is held in by this side piece. Since there's nothing back here holding this in, it's just being held in right now by that. There goes the shark on by with the barrel still attached to it. Beep, 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 beep. And it's feeling like mouth to me. With all that red. Feeling like mouth or, you know, maybe internal organs kind of thing. But I'm really feeling more mouth. I do like that we're doing a lot with the grays in here to give the nice gray color. That there. Oh yeah, not doing the knolling of the pieces and all that. I don't like super duper have the space for that. So like I could do it, but it just takes so darn long. And aside from when it turns out that you're missing a piece, it usually, for me, takes less time to just chaos build. Just go at it. Oh. I'm feeling like this is gonna slide on here. Sometimes when you're building stuff, you do see how things are going to lay. And you can see that this just slots right on here. Just perfectly with the gray, lines up perfectly there. Since you want to be able to take him off the stand relatively easily, you want something that's going to be able to like slide on here, but come off so you can take it off and put it onto the boat portion, the boat display. Gonna need a bigger boat. I mean, it's because the ones that build these, like the master builders who design all these, see, got that right on there. I mean, I'm purely guessing on where this is all going to end up. But it's a good educated guess. In fact, I'm just going to lay that right there for now. Yeah, because what's going to happen is this little hand gripper here, when we slide this on, going to click into place there to hold that steady. Pop it off for now. Don't want to get too ahead of ourselves by attaching stuff fully. But I want to get just ahead of myself to gauge what's going to be happening and how things are gonna look and lay out on there. Ah, looked at the wrong piece. As we start building out some girth to old Brucey here. Bruce is a big boy to be able to eat the damn ship. I mean, how big does a shark have to be to chow down on a fishing boat? Like a full-on, full-ass fishing boat. At least as big as Bruce. At least that's the answer we've got. It has to be at least as big as Bruce. Banana. Put the big old bits on Bruce's sides, flush him out. I will say, I suspect that Steven Spielberg's lawyer didn't like. I'm not sure whether he loved or hated that the shark was named after him or was nicknamed after him. What do you think? If you were a lawyer and one of your clients was a film director and nicknamed a shark in their movie after you, how would you feel? I'm not sure if I'd love or hate it. Especially when you know the story, when you've heard the stories after the fact. And those kind of things. How do you think you would feel if you were a lawyer and your client or his film crew nicknamed a problematic and mean animatronic shark after you? How would you feel? Would you be honored to be a part that you were thought of? In a way, or would you be mildly offended? I don't know. I wish that my buddy Brian was here for his opinion. I figure he could, but I'm sure he is at work, so the trade-off is he could get that insider information. Since he does work around lawyers, though he is not one, but he does work around them. So maybe he could get their insight. On whether or not they would appreciate it or hate it. Got that. We're getting that big old girthy Bruce here. Oh. Well, you ladies of Spain. Bum, bum, bottom. Bum, bum. And I mean, for all I know, that the story about Bruce the Shark being named after Steven Spielberg's lawyer could just be an apocrypha of the film industry. Could just be a full-on falsehood. There we go. We got a couple spare pieces, including a spare of Quince Machete. Second, my headset has decided that this is the time to die. So plug her in. Fortunately, no more problems run into while making Bruce here. So once we finish with Bruce, rather than continuing on and building the base for things, I am going to swap over and play some solo Dead by Daylight, probably. Just since it is going to take a little bit, and I do have to wait on those pieces for the Orca itself. Because we are on that third baggie of Bruce. I'm going to assume that was from there. But the one that I just came across was not a piece that I was missing from the Orca, so that's not not as helpful as it might sound. Even if it does happen to be one that I misplaced from one of the other portions. Do get things all set and going. Like I said, we're gonna dig in just for the moment. Get that big old torso piece slotted on. Scoot that out of frame a little bit. Sorry about that. Been saying stuff and not letting you guys see it. Apologize. Sometimes I gotta look over and see where my framing is. Maybe when I have in the future, I'll have a different mat and I'll put some markings on it so I know the frame borders a little better. I do want you guys to be able to see everything. I wish I could get my camera up a little higher, maybe get you a better view, but with my current setup, it is what I've got. Thank you very much, CodeLex. And I hope everybody is having a good time today. Hopefully you're enjoying the Lego builds. Too many little pieces. I can understand that. I can definitely understand that. Yeah, this is what I enjoy. Because you got to kind of build up. Oh, just Neapolitan sandwich, Neapolitan ice cream. I think we're starting to get our teefies here. That mounted in there. Okay, I was right. We're starting to get our push that off. We're starting to get that upper jaw there. I wanna do my very Spanish lady. Sorry, I think it's all tends to be. Oh, awesome, Luna. Good to hear. Luna's doing some system upgrades. To improve her gaming experience in a couple of things. And also hopefully to get a little more system stability in areas. And all the components are here. She was planning on doing the upgrades when she comes out here. Not with them actually being done out here, but being done at the shop while she is not utilizing her computer. But they may happen sooner than that since she's got all those pieces and parts available. But we'll find out. There is absolutely no rush aside from her own want. Trying to figure out what we're doing with this. How this is all going to fit together. Wanting to know what that knobby right there is for. Sure, they're going to do something cool with it. Put that on there. And it locks this into place. This. The thing, Luna, that you got to realize is that with a lot of Lego, when you are dealing with Lego that has those small parts, you end up dealing with the small parts. Usually the easier the set, the smaller the parts end up being. Weirdly. Because I end up doing a lot of those smaller parts because it's just kind of more convenient that way. Well, maybe not so much convenient as get the right phrasing for this. They tend to be cheaper, and so you end up with smaller sets that are less advanced. Yeah. So you do end up with those lots of pieces. Huh. Yeah, I guess I put in a piece I shouldn't have earlier on. Fortunately, I can go back, fix that. When you sit back and you look at the instructions, you're like, that doesn't look right. Ah, okay. So this right here is that dead doll eye. That shark doll, like that shark doll eye. What we're building right there. So we'll put that on here. And we got Bruce starting to take shape. Makes sense. Hopefully it arrives quickly. And then we get the gills in place there. Then we're going to start building this side. This is the last baggie of Bruce. So this is all of Bruce. Everything that remains here is the shark. Our colors all going here. So I have a feeling that's going to allow us to receive the mouth right there or right there. Oh, we'll see what that works out, because this is gonna work in right here, I'm sure. Be another pink slide right there. A big old mouth. I guess we could have Quint in his mouth. Or her mouth. I mean, technically. Wrong piece. Keep doing that. Putting in the wrong piece. Why do I do that? We gotta do this so we can get the other dead doll eye shark eye in here. Come on. Oh, and there we go. Again, building out more of this. Well, what I do, you ladies of Spain. I'm gonna find the right one. Is that the right one? That is the right one. See, and there's what we're building right now. There's side of Bruce's head. Bruce's brain pan. It's all locked together. See how we're getting that same look that we had on the other side, just mirrored. Done. Now, just as I was saying earlier, use something in the wrong spot. Feeling like I used something wrong somewhere. Oh, there it is. Sitting on where sometimes the chaos building is problematic. Now we get that there. We'll put on the gills. So now we're going to start building out the jaw for the big boy. Get them TVs. Shark teeth. So now we're getting the rest of the upper jaw. In here. I don't know why that happened. Somebody hit the wrong button on their Instagram. Funny when that happens. I don't know why they made a call feature in Instagram. Like where you can call in a voice chat or in a group chat on Instagram. That doesn't make sense to me. Them big old chompers. Gonna be the part goes down here. The dead center of the shark. I think we're building a tongue right now. That looks like a tongue to me. Sharky tongue. Oh. More teeth. More and more teeth, because there's a lot of teeth here. It's a shark. There's a lot of teeth. Why are there so many teeth? Just teeth upon teeth upon teeth. The bird, in actuality, recognizes the coyote here recognizes why there's so many teeth. That is purely a joke on this. Got that jaw. Set that jaw in there. I love that the mouth cannot close. There's just not enough movement there. Now we're going to start building the fins. We are getting near the end of this. I mean, that's all we got left. I forgot to cover this. Oh, there it goes. Now we build the other one. As the mirror of what we just built. Ba-da-da. Ba-da-da. Now we're building the dorsal fin. You can definitely tell if you know the anatomy of a shark, you know what you're starting to build. When you're getting near the tail end of things, so to speak. You again. Then slide this in. Play nice with me. Sometimes you got stuff with just the tolerance can be super tight on these. No. There we go. We've got Bruce all fully assembled and ready to eat the ship. With these last bits in there. So, there we have that. So I'm going to step away for just a couple of moments. I will be right back. At least live, I'll be right back. I'm going to be, this will be in the end of the YouTube recording for this build. But I will be, let's get him centered before I, but I will be back.